It caused quite a stir a couple of months ago and made national headlines. Idaho's AG takes aim at interstate referrals for abortion. This catchy turn of phrase was written after Raul Labrador wrote a letter to State Representative Brent Crane offering his opinion on whether a doctor can refer a patient out of state for the procedure, whether that act violated Idaho's new abortion ban. The one that says the license of any healthcare professional who performs, attempts to perform, or assists in performing or attempting to perform an abortion is breaking the law. They could have their license suspended or revoked. It's the use of that word assist that likely led to Labrador's letter, which he later claimed wasn't an opinion, just a letter, in which was written the state's top law enforcer's interpretation of a controversial law on AG office letterhead. So a lawsuit was filed over the letter and the idea. Planned Parenthood, on behalf of two doctors, wanted a court to weigh in on the First Amendment issues and free commerce. And late yesterday, a federal judge did weigh in, putting a stop to the possibility of prosecuting a doctor for sending a patient out of state for health care, at least temporarily. An injunction while the lawsuit plays out. Here's Joe Paris.
U.S. District Judge Lynn Windmill says Idaho's Attorney General cannot prosecute medical providers who refer women for abortions out of state, at least for now. Judge Windmill raised a collection of concerns, primarily with First Amendment rights. AG Raul Labrador was asked in late March for insight on Idaho's criminal abortion laws by Representative Brent Crane. In that letter, signed by Labrador, it is highlighted that Idaho law prohibits doctors from assisting to attempt or perform an abortion. The letter from Labrador says, quote, "The plain meaning of assist is to give support or aid. An Idaho healthcare professional who refers a woman across state lines to an abortion provider has given support or aid to the woman and has thus violated the statute." As Planned Parenthood filed a lawsuit over this letter, Labrador rescinded it. In a response, the AG expressed that Representative Crane had requested a response on behalf of Stanton Healthcare, an anti-abortion healthcare group. Lawmakers are supposed to request law insights for themselves in their lawmaking role, not as a middleman for political groups.
The reality is we should have never been here in the first place.
Rebecca Gibron is the president and CEO of Planned Parenthood Great Northwest. They have worked with medical professionals around Idaho that fear prosecution based on Labrador's letter. They have a real fear that just talking with a patient about getting an abortion in a place like Oregon, it could cost them their medical license. Judge Windmill touched on the concern in his 60-page opinion, saying, quote, "The court finds that the medical providers are likely to succeed on their First Amendment cause of action."
Labrador had every opportunity when we were in front of the judge to disavow the opinion, and he absolutely refused to do so. And the judge called that out in his ruling.
I reached out to Labrador's office for comment, and they tell me, quote, "In his 28-year career, you'd be hard-pressed to find a time when Judge Windmill has ruled against Planned Parenthood, so his decision is not surprising. Judge Windmill wants to restrain a power we don't possess. We strongly disagree with his order." Gibron disagrees. She thinks the judge was fair in the assessment. Labrador just doesn't like it.
I think for far too long, extremists in this state have been creating harmful laws with no checks in place. And at the first sign of accountability, they cry foul.
Labrador's office filed this appeal to the decision on Tuesday. Gibron says no surprise there.
The fact that he's appealing the ruling at all tells us exactly what we knew all along. Labrador is intending to attack and go after providers in the state of Idaho.
The court gave both sides of the issue 2 weeks to prepare for the next phase of proceedings. Again, the injunction is preliminary. On a related note, by the way, today, political leaders from more than 20 different states filed paperwork challenging a new Idaho law that criminalizes traveling for abortion trafficking. We've talked to you about this on the 208. Made it a crime for adults to help minors travel out of state for abortion care. State of Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson filed a multi-state amicus brief urging the U.S. District Court in Idaho to block the law altogether. They argue that it endangers minors and also infringes on things like interstate travel and First Amendment rights. But Brian, what we're really seeing today on a few different notes is that the state of Idaho really is this proving ground for abortion laws. What will hold up in court? What will not hold up in court? How can you phrase something? So a very interesting time to be an Idahoan.
And what's interesting about this is Mr. Labrador feels like it's okay for him to say it out loud in a letter, but not really wanting to say it in a courtroom to a judge what he believes in when it comes to this assisting part of the law.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that comes up in court and if there's arguments made and, you find out exactly what does he believe and why.
All right. Thank you very much, Joe.